顶礼坛城，做观想大礼拜，一拜根本传承上师及诸佛。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三印。二拜诸菩萨。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三印。三拜诸护法金刚。嗡啊吽，观想顶礼，回天心三印。四平等一起手。请主持人敬献哈达，以表最崇高敬意。让我们以热烈的掌声感谢师尊的赐福。恭请圣尊加持摊位佛具供品。 尊的加持。恭请圣尊生护摩法座。请师母、诸位上师、教授师上座，法师上座，讲师、助教、贵宾、同门、善信大德就座。恭请圣尊加持主席者表格。
我们协师中协都跟他都等级都低，每一切都是10多20。这个问题不显得是说。每期都是10多20。
让我们以最热烈的掌声，感恩根本传承上师圣尊延生活佛为我们主坛释迦牟尼佛护摩大法会，也让我们以热烈的掌声欢迎师母莲香上师以及世界各地的众上师、教授师、法师、讲师、助教、贵宾、同门善信大德来护持法会。南无本师释迦牟尼佛护摩法会开始，拍掌弹指。
The Homa today is that of Shakyamuni Buddha. The ceremony has now begun. Visualize two Buddha lineage, Namo Vairocana Buddha, Namo Buddha Lokana, Namo Amitabha, Namo Padmakumara, Namo Living Buddha Lian-Sheng. Visualize Grandmaster and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas sitting on top of our heads, radiating light to bless us. We said the root Guru mantra 7 times.
Om Guru Lian-Sheng Siddhi Hom. 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 Om Guru Lian-Sheng Siddhi Hom.
Purification mantras and the Atyeti mantra.
Om Siudori Siudori Siumori Siumori Soha. Om Wadaradan He Hom. Namo Samanto Modoran Om Duru Duru Deve Soha.
The invocation mantra.
Om A Hom Soha. Om A Hom Soha.
We sincerely invoke our lineage root Guru, His Holiness the Mahavaipadmakumara. Namo Mastery Lotus Light Buddha. Namo Lineage Gurus, the main deity of Homa. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. We sincerely invoke the main deity of the Homa, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. We sincerely invoke the main deity of Homa, Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Namo Golden Mother of the Primordial Jet Pond. Namo 5 Dhyani Buddhas. True Buddhas go 8 primary deities. Namo Yamantaka. Namo Akalanata. Namo 4 heavenly kings. Namo Sama Bodhisattva. Rainbow temples, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Herukas, Dhammapalas, Dakinis, and divinities. All the deities enshrined at the Tribuddha Tantric Quarter, Seattle Lechang Temple, the abode at the Southern Mountain, Rainbow Temples, Mountain God, Earth God, Plant God, Wind God, Water God, Heavenly Fire God, Dragon Gods, and all Dakini's divinities, as well as the City God, to please radiate light and bless this Homa. Great homage using visualization, first to Root Guru and all Buddhas. Visualize full prostration on the ground, release the mudra. Second, to all bodhisattvas. Third, to all herukas and dharma protectors. Visualize full prostration, release the mudra. Fourth, half bow. Great mandala offering, form the offering mudra. Visualize the transformations of the offerings to become innumerable and to fill the whole space. Make the offering above the lineage guru, all the lineage gurus, the main deity of the Homa, Shakyamuni Buddha, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Herukas, Dhammapalas, Dakinis, and divinities, and in the middle to all heavenly beings, and below to all sentient beings. Recite the offering verse and mantra. Mount Meru, four continents, and sun and moon transform into precious offerings for the Buddhas. May these wondrous treasures and merits purge all karma to all of our civilization. For refuge, visualize our lineage root guru, all the lineage gurus, Buddha jewel, Dhamma jewel, and Sangha jewel to form bright light to empower us. Recite the mantra. Namo Gurube, Namo Buddhaye, Namo Dhammaye, Namo Sanghyaye. Namo Gurube, Namo Buddhaye, Namo Dhammaye, Namo Sanghyaye. Namo Gurube, Namo Buddhaye, Namo Dhammaye, Namo Sanghyaye. Armor protection. Recite Bhajavani mantra 7 times. Inviting His Holiness to perform blessings with mala. Inviting His Holiness to set ceremonial demarcation to bless the prayers, the registration forms, and all the offerings with Vajrapala and scepter. inviting His Holiness to perform the ritual of opening the fire pit.
Inviting
His Holiness to lit the Homa fire, to make all the offerings, and to perform mudra transformations for purifications, enhancements, magnetization, subjugation, and pardon deliverance. The assembly should be reciting the heart mantra of the main deity of Homa today, Shakyamuni Buddha. During this time, you may also perform the Homa visualization, the emergence of the deity, the merging of the deity with yourself and with the Homa fire. Visualize the Homa fire burn away all karma and negativities.
Shakyamuni
Shakyamuni so ha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani 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 Shakyamuni
Om
Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani Shakyamuni Soha. Om Mani Mani Mahamani
We said the heart mantras of the eight principal deities and we can pray with
Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Pranamo Hitoin Soha. Om Ha 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 Ve Samoye Soha. Om Jai Jai Junte Soha. Om Jamra Charan Chanaye Soha. Om A Hom Beta Guru Me Masiti Hom Se. Om A Hom Guru Me Aho Sasamaha Yen Sun Siti Hom. Eyata Om Bekasiya Bekasiya Maha Bekasiya Raja Samo Kadeya Soha. Namo San Sri Wani Yi Sri Wan Jiu Che Wu Ba Tong Yin Hong Hao A Mi Ho Ho. Namo San Sri Wani Yi Sri Wan Jiu Che Wu Ba Tong Yin Hong Hao A Mi Ho Ho. Namo San Sri Wani Yi Sri Wan Jiu Che Wu Ba Tong Yin Hong Hao A Mi Ho Ho.
Merit dedication. May Allah uphold the Buddha, ascend to the realm of utmost bliss, living for full generosities from above, aiding those in the three realms below. Upon seeing the Buddha, may we turn sad life and death. Like the Buddha, may we live at all. We dedicate the merit of this ceremony to our lineage root Guru. May you stay healthy, live a long life with great self-mastery to continually turn the Dharma wheel in samsara. Inviting His Holiness to perform the oral merit dedication. Wholeheartedly, we pay homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, the fundamental teacher. Wholeheartedly, we pay homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. Wholeheartedly, we pay homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. We pray to the Buddha to guide the Bardo spirits to be reborn into the pure Buddha realm. And please bestow upon all participants the eradication of their sicknesses. May they gain good health. Please bestow. May they be endowed with sufficient wisdom and abundant prosperity and resources. And please bestow love and respect and harmony. Please eradicate our karma. To the Shakyamuni Buddha, the founder of Buddhism, please bestow auspiciousness upon us during the day, auspiciousness at night, auspiciousness around the clock. And may we, amidst auspiciousness, pray for the absorption by the Yidam, for the blessings by the Root Guru, and for the protection by the Protector. To Shakyamuni Buddha, we offer our utmost reverence. To Mahakashyapa, we offer our utmost reverence. To Ananda, we offer our utmost reverence. And to the 500 Arhats, we offer our utmost reverence. And to all the Bodhisattvas, we offer our utmost reverence. To the gods in heaven, gods on earth, may we be far from all calamities, may all calamities abandon us, let all disasters turn into dust. We pray that all of our prayers be granted. May all obstructions disappear, may all enemies and enmities vanish. We say 100-syllable mantra 3 times.
Om Beta Sato Samaya Manupanaya Beta Sato Tinupadicha Jejo Me Bawa Sutto Kayu Me Bawa Supu Kayu Me Bawa Anuranto Me Bawa Sawa Siddhi Me Burayata Sawa Dharma Sutta Me Chittamu Siddhi Guru Hom Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Pecamami Mensa Pecabawa Mahasamaya Sato Ahom Pe Om Peca Sato Samaya Manupanaya Peca Sato Tinupadicha Jejo Me Bawa Sutto Kayu Me Bawa Supu Kayu Me Bawa Anuranto Me Bawa Sawa Siddhi Me Burayata Sawa Karma Sutta Me Chittamu Siddhi Guru Hom Ha 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 Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Pecamami Mensa Pecabawa Mahasamaya Sato Ahom Pe
Great homage using visualization for student Guru and all Buddhas. Visualize for prostitution on the ground in this mudra, second to all bodhisattvas. Visualize for prostitution on the ground in this mudra, third to all Hedukas and Dharma protectors. Visualize for prostitution on the ground in this mudra, fourth head bow. Recite completion mantra. Now please stand up and join our palms with great reverence, and together we are inviting His Holiness to take the Dharma teaching seat. Now please be seated. Let's give a great round of applause as our token of gratitude to our lineage Guru for presiding over the Homa fire offering ceremony. Now let's join our palms with reverence, and together we are inviting His Holiness to bestow the precious Buddha Dharma teaching. First, let's pay homage to the lineage Gurus. Homage to the Venerable Monk Liang-Min. Homage to Master Shakyamuni. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dupten Dorji. And homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, the founder of Buddhism in Samsara, Shakyamuni Buddha. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, all disciples present here and over the internet, and our participating VIPs today are the Madam to Ambassador Daniel Liao, the Taipei rep to Sweden and Norway, Dharma Sister Judy, accountant to True Buddha School, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband Larry, Dr. Su Lin, and the advisor to the Overseas Chinese of the Republic of China, Mr. Mac. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? First, I would like to announce for next Sunday, which is May 27th, there would be Green Tara Homa fire offering ceremony. Green Tara and the 21 Taras, and their mudra is the same as Golden Mother's, and that's the Tara's mudra, and the sixth syllable is Tang. The mantra for Green Tara. And the later one is the mantra for all Taras, the general mantra for Taras. And today we perform the Homa of Shakyamuni Buddha. And it's been a long time we had the Homa for Shakyamuni Buddha. And today we had the Homa for Shakyamuni Buddha. And yesterday we had the bathing of the Buddha and the group practice for Shakyamuni Buddha. And today we are having the Homa. That's wonderful. So Shakyamuni Buddha, from birth to parinirvana, he had many stories, his life stories, that we cannot cover in one night. But you can read the book by Wang Po from the Tang Dynasty. So Shakyamuni Buddha's a book on Shakyamuni Buddha's life stories. Then you can understand about Shakyamuni Buddha's biography, or about his life. And his image or his appearance is the same as other Buddhas. All Buddhas typically look similar. The only difference is what they are holding, and also their mudras. Shakyamuni Buddha typically is holding an alms bowl. So it's a bowl for eating. And the other hand is the touching the earth mudra. And how about this statue? It is the same. So typically we call the mudra is the touching the earth mudra. And the other hand is holding the alms bowl, a bowl. Many Buddhas have similar look or appearance because the Buddha is the most dignified and marvelous. The eyebrows, the eyes, the nose, The lips, the ears are truly beautiful and dignified. And what are these bumps on the head? I don't understand what you're saying. It's like the cherry moya fruit. How come you're thinking of food? When I was young, I heard this story that because Shakyamuni Buddha was sitting under the Bodhi tree and there were many birds on the tree and they dropped the droopings on his head, so that's why it became like this. That's what I heard when I was little. But no, that's impossible. That couldn't be. And some people said it's kind of like a curly hair. Like there's some black people that would have curly hairs. So all Buddhas are the same. So we can say that all the Buddhas are sitting under the Bodhi tree. Like at the Rainbow Temple, all the Buddhas look alike, just the mudras that's different. It's very easy to visualize them. And the mantra, yesterday I have explained that Om means universe and Moni meaning the benevolent one, the greatest benevolent one of the Sakya clan, Soha. That's his mantra. Soha means siddhi or let it be accomplished. So with mantra, mudra, and his mudra is like this. This is what Grand Master learned. So like 3 mountains. So it's called the 3 mountain mudra. Inner clasping, and then the thumbs, the middle fingers and the pinkies are upright and touching each other. So this 3 mountain mudra is Shakyamuni Buddha's mudra. So with the mudra, mantra and visualization, you can practice Shakyamuni Buddha's deity yoga. And yesterday we talked about Shakyamuni Buddha's life, and in that life, the most important ones is his turning of the Dharma wheel for 3 times. It's not that he was transmitting certain Dharma during the first turning or second turning or third turning. But the first turning of the Dharma wheel was after his attainment. He delivered the 5 nuns. They were from the Kapilavastu that sent these 5 people to find Shakyamuni Buddha, but it turned out that they followed Shakyamuni Buddha and became ordained to become monks. And then when Shakyamuni Buddha practicing asceticism deep in the mountains, these 5 monks followed him. Later on, Shakyamuni Buddha accepted an offering from the daughter of a shepherd. So the 5 monks felt that Shakyamuni Buddha had abandoned spiritual cultivation. Therefore, the 5 monks left the Buddha. And then they went to Deer Park. Grandmaster had visited that place too. And the 5 monks practiced on their own after leaving the Buddha at the Deer Park. But Shakyamuni Buddha realized that asceticism was not the path. It is okay to discipline yourself by practicing asceticism. It is also good, but it is not the true path for enlightenment. So that's why Shakyamuni Buddha said that asceticism is not the path. As a spiritual cultivator, you want to live simply, but you don't have to practice asceticism, because your bodies are important too. You cannot make it sick. And finally, under the Bodhi tree, Shakyamuni Buddha gained enlightenment. After many experiences, he finally gained enlightenment. Upon enlightenment, there was Brahma and Triyastrimsa heavenly kings invited the Buddha. It's like to invoke or to supplicate the Buddha to stay in samsara. So this supplication came from that time, because upon enlightenment the Buddha wanted to enter into parinirvana and did not care about delivering sentient beings. However, Brahma and Triyastrimsa heavenly kings supplicated the Buddha to stay in samsara. Therefore, the Buddha stayed in samsara. And the ones that he delivered first were the 5 monks that followed him earlier from Bodhigaya to the Deer Park. So he gave Dharma teaching to the 5 monks who were the ministers of King Suddhodana. So he gave Dharma teaching to the 5 monks, and that was called the 3 turning of the Dharma wheels. And actually it was talking about the 4 noble truths: sufferings, the accumulation of suffering, the elimination of sufferings, and the path. So the Buddha regarded that human life is suffering, no happiness in human life. So first he said that suffering should know about suffering, which means all sentient beings suffer, and we should know. So if you find human life is full of suffering, please raise your hand. I also find human life is suffering, but of course there's some happiness, but only short-lived, temporary. Of course, sometimes you feel happy, but it is transient. But some people don't find life to be suffering. When we immigrated to United States, at that time there was a family, the Gao family, Gao means son, Gao means so. their family followed us here. And a Dharma sister called Xiaowen, I told her, human life is suffering, and she replied, no, I'm very happy. How come there's no suffering? He said he doesn't suffer. You don't even wash clothes and you don't even wear underwear. You think that wearing the Lama skirt, people will not notice that you don't wear underwear? He never wears underwear. Hey, little kids, you can lift up his skirt. So you're too lazy to wash your clothes. And you say you don't suffer? So let me tell you, I know what makes you suffer, but I will not say it. If you encounter a really, really hot girl, so you just make yourself happy amidst the suffering. So when we just got to America, I did not have any money, but I found, and I live in the spiritual attic. And before immigrating to United States, I have bought that house for $80,000 US. And then we built the tantric quarter for over $90,000 US. And now, see, doesn't matter how much you save, you can't keep up with the inflation. So that's also suffering. At that time, we didn't have any money, and we always complained. And then the wife of Cao Ming's son, Dharma sister Xiaowen, came from a wealthy family, and she felt happy having money. And she said, no suffering. But she did not know that money is not forever, that one day you would be troubled by money too. You think that having money is happiness, but you will never be content. Or you think that by becoming a big officer or official, then you would be happy. No. Look at the ex-Prime Minister of Malaysia, Najib. So now he's being toppled. So he must be suffering. He must lose lots of sleep, because now he's being interrogated. And his wife bought Hermes bags. And she's bought so many bags and not content. So that's a kind of suffering. So one is not enough. She bought hundreds of them. So she has money, and maybe she has some happiness when she got a new bag, but she's also struggling amidst the money. So the Prime Minister of Malaysia is the highest position there, but now he's suffering. Like Marcos, the ex-president of the Philippines, suffer. Does he suffer? How about his wife, Imelda Marcos?
整个房间里面都是
She bought shoes.
他也不满足啊。
Her whole house was filled with shoes, but yet she was still not content. And discontent brings suffering.
但马可是到最后
So Marcus finally died,
也是很惨，
and it was really bad. And now the Prime Minister
也
Naji
是苦啊。
also suffered, and the President Park
像这些人
from Korea also suffered.
下台的时候的惨象，
So can they sleep well?
你说阿扁不苦吗？陈水扁啊，
You know
当然苦啊，
how bad
他
they
被关啊，
fell
当然
the
苦啊，被关
downfall
啊这些都是总统哎，
from their
这些都是
positions,
总统。
create lots of suffering.
你看现在
Now, how about ex-President Appian or Chen from Taiwan too?
那个那么低，他也是苦啊。他表面上
Or the current president of Taiwan
我的民调怎么那么
also suffered, you know.
他也苦啊。
The poll was really bad from the people. So maybe she smiled on the surface, but actually she may not be able to sleep at night.
韩国的总统
Why the poll is
到最后韩国的总统
coming
还有
down
跳海
drastically? All presidents of Korea suffered, and there's some president that killed himself, jumped into the ocean. Presidents being imprisoned, or presidents that have to pay the penalty of billions of dollars. And how about ex-president Ma Ying-jeong? He suffered too.
判泄密罪也判了，
He was being
法官给
judged
他判4个月，
and imprisoned for 4 months.
他也苦啊。
So, did he suffer? Of course.
这些当总统的都苦，你以为
So,
做
as presidents, they all suffered.
很快乐啊，赚钱
And
很
you
快乐
think, as businessmen, you would be happy. Earning money would be happy. Actually, that's suffering too.
也会赔钱的时候，
Sometimes you lose money. Sometimes you're poor.
老也是苦。
So poverty is suffering. Old age is suffering. Being sick is
现
suffering.
在问一问小文，他还快乐。
So now, if you ask Xiaowen, are you happy?
老了
And now she's old. So as
问他的
you
病，他得
age,
了
of course, you would have sicknesses. Now,
你问师母，
if we ask her again, does she suffer? Or now you ask Simu, do you suffer? And you think that as Simu, she would be extremely happy. She smiles.
对不对？师母应该很快乐才对啊。
Simu should be very happy, right?
对啊，他忙得不得了，忙得苦啊。
And she's really busy.
有时候睡觉
So
睡得
that's
很好，他就
suffering.
乐一点。
And if she sleeps well, then she would be
然后
happier.
睡得不好，
And if
还
she
要工
doesn't
作
sleep well, then she would suffer more.
当然苦啊。
And even when she doesn't sleep well, she still has to work, so that's suffering. And being sick is also
生
suffering.
老病死，
So birth, aging, sickness,
沉
death, suffering, greed, anger, hatred, and ignorance, they're also suffering. Or you don't get what you want, that's also suffering.
也是苦啊。你看苦到
That's
台湾
suffering.
现在很不好的一个状况，
Like
经常都是情伤。
in Taiwan, we have this horrible phenomena that people kill the people that they love
我爱你，
because it's one-sided.
然后
I love you, I
杀
Siteru,
一刀，
and then
我
they
爱你
kill.
再杀一刀，
And then I love you, and then kill.
喊我爱你，然后把他弹死。
And then cut and beat until the lover is dead
求不得
while crying out, I love you, I love you,
爱他有什么用？
because it's one-sided.
爱他有什么用？
So what use if the man loves the lady, but the lady doesn't love the man, or vice versa? So if you don't get what you love or what you want, that's suffering. There are so many kinds of sufferings. Someone always get first class, first in class, and then one time he doesn't get to be first in class. And when he got the second in class, he killed himself because he wanted to be first all the time. That's not good. It's better to be like me. I'm always last. My dad asked me, how come you're always last in class? Because people have lined up in the front, so, well, so I'm just the last. And I stayed in the same class twice. Was it suffering? Of course. That in the freshman in junior high, I stayed in the same class twice. So the school expelled me and asked me to go to the junior force school. And after I got there, I realized that all the students who stayed in the same class went there. So that was more like a vocational school. But that was suffering. But then, in that class, I was better, because I was better than all the students who stayed in the same class. And then in that school, I became first in class. And then that motivated me, because I was last and stayed in the same class before twice. And then when I got to this new school, the other students were all stayed in the same class before. So I became first because I was better than they were. So I gained some self-confidence, and then I got into high school and then to the military school. So in my study, I also suffered. I was rather short. I was the shortest in class. And the bullies in school were all the huge and tall kids, bullying the little kids. Of course, I suffered. So, no suffering. So the first turning of the Dharma wheel is that you should know that human life is suffering and happiness is only transient. You think getting married is happiness. Having the first wedding night is happiness. But you know, that happiness is the eternal suffering. So with that bliss or happiness for the moment, then the wife is pregnant, and the pregnant suffers for 10 months and then give birth, and then you have to raise the kids, and that's also suffering. So not many people now have kids, have children in Taiwan or in America. Only the natives and the aboriginals would have more children, but the educated ones don't have children, because having children and raising children is also suffering. So in this point, Master Lian is pretty smart, because once you get married, you would know what kind of suffering it is. So the happiness for the moment results in the suffering of the whole life. And when you gather all these sufferings, you accumulate the suffering. And what will it generate? During the second turn of the Dharma wheel, Shakyamuni Buddha taught you need to stop the suffering. You have to stop the suffering in order to make the suffering into happiness. The cause of suffering should be gathered and collected and accumulated, and then it becomes stopping it. So the accumulated suffering should be stopped, should be broken. And so you need to know and understand this, and Shakyamuni Buddha did know. Coming to the Saha world is suffering, and then by stopping it, the Saha would become better. And then the third turning of the Dharma wheel, the elimination of what? To eliminate the cause. You need to prove that all sufferings have been eliminated. And then you enter into extinction or serenity. That goodness is also suffering. Performing charity is also suffering. I remember in Hong Kong, I told them to perform charity during the era of Master Lian-Han. So they collected money and they give to the homeless on the streets in Hong Kong. And they bought lots of blankets to give to them. It's suffering to perform charity. So they give the blankets to the homeless, and some were very thankful and some got angry. Angry over what? They said, so you think I'm not good enough? I don't need anything from you. So some people are different. You give them blanket and they throw the blanket back at you. One time I went to Hong Kong. There was a beggar extended his hand wanting money from me, but I did not have any paper bills. I don't have any Hong Kong dollars. I have US coins, lots of them. So I give him a whole hand of the US coins. He wasn't happy. He threw the coins at me. So I had to escape after performing charity. So there are lots of things that they're not as simple as you think. It's not easy to perform good deeds. So you think I'm poor, eh? Because they didn't think so. So the homeless, you give them something and they throw it back at you or spit at you. So it's quite difficult about dealing with people, as we know. When you encounter problems, you can't sleep at night, you would know that's suffering. So if you sleep well, raise your hand, all of you. And you sleep as soon as you lay down, and you sleep well, and you sleep sweetly, and you have sweet dreams. Please raise your hand. Every time you sleep, you would sleep really deeply and sleep really well. Huh? Are you a pig? Are you a piggy? But Grandmaster is too. I sleep really well. I sleep really well every night. Because I emptied my whole brain. All things are taken out, and I don't remember all kinds of problems. Just let it flow like water. And I don't remember my difficulties. It'll take care of itself when the time comes. So some people selling real estates and they suffer because nobody buys. Or someone has lots of properties. They're rich, but they don't have cash. They want cash, they want to sell, but they can't. So that's suffering. So there are a lot of things that you don't have your wishes fulfilled. Or you're separated from your loved one. Your loved one is really far away. But those who are always glaring at you are always next to you. But your loved one is so far away. That's the suffering due to separation from your loved one. So there are lots of things that's not going smoothly. So adversity is suffering. And then if you gather all of this and then you stop it, that's the elimination. And lastly is that know to practice the path. So in the Four Noble Truths, the last one is the path, and you need to know to cultivate spiritually. If you succeed, then you have no more suffering. That you abandon suffering and you gain happiness. Then you can prove the elimination. Once you know the concepts, oh, the universe is like this, or the Saha world is like this, and you know there are a lot of things that you can't have. Separation from your loved ones, being together with your adversaries. I cannot say many, but there's some who don't come to the Seattle temple. And because they said that the monks and nuns of the Seattle temple are not kind to me, or they don't come to the Rainbow Temple because the monks and nuns at the Rainbow Temple mistreat them, and I would spit at them. I don't want to go anymore because they are not kind to me. So what are they doing? They are suffering emotionally. So the suffering of being together with your hated one. Like before marriage, you call honey, 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 but after marriage, it becomes enemies. We have an Lian-Sheng from Canada, not the one from Taiwan. Where are you? She's right there. The Lian-Sheng from Canada once said, Erica, what is a marriage? It's when you meet your karmic enemy. That's suffering, right? And Grandmaster and Mrs. Lu have been married for 45 years. Like according to Erica, if we don't follow Erica's philosophy, then we are the combination of two. That Simu was the one who helped me, but I will not say the second part, because she's done lots of wonderful things. She served me really well. We shouldn't say something like what Erica said. We are not like what you said. We are like eating the sugar cane backward, which is getting sweeter and sweeter all the time. So at old age, that when you can cherish each other's, that's really truly wonderful. And Simu will also say, I know your character, Grandmaster, so I'll let you graze the grass. So she understands me and I understand her. That's good enough. So we both understand each other. I understand Simu's heart and she understands my heart. And we care for each other. That's already very good. That's perfect. But there's also time for suffering. There are also times of suffering. Because at night, she would say something like this. What? You're going out? Go ahead. That I don't dare to do. That I don't dare to go out. At that time, that was the most suffering because I wanted to go out, but I don't dare. So I walk back and forth and back and forth. Like I was holding my pee. That's also suffering. But you need to understand the heart of a woman, that you should not go out at night. She would ask, what are you doing? Going out at night? I want to take a walk. Okay, I'll accompany you. Then I don't want to go out. Then what are you doing going out at night? As a monk or spiritual cultivator, what do you do going out at night? You buy things? Well, I'll go with you. I'll go with you no matter where or what you're doing. Simu always said, then I'll accompany you wherever you go. And then, but if you do that, what would I do? So that's the problem. But she understands me and I understand her, and that's perfect enough. That's perfect already. So the three turnings of the Dharma wheel of the Buddha was talking about suffering, accumulation of suffering, and the elimination. And then the last one, the path, is by practicing the path you can prove the elimination, that all sufferings have been eliminated. So that's what Shakyamuni Buddha taught during the three turnings of the Dharma wheel, for the suffering, accumulation, and the elimination. The turning of the suffering wheel, the turning of the accumulation wheel, and the turning of the elimination wheel. And then you need to practice the path. So the Buddha put great importance on these four noble truths. At the earliest time, he talked about these four noble truths, and at the end, he talked about it again, still. And there's one crucial point of this. Some people said that the three turnings of the Dharma wheels are not about the Four Noble Truths. But the first turning at the Deer Park was about the Four Noble Truths, and at Bodhigaya, his turning of the Dharma wheel was about the Maha Prajna Paramita Yana, which is the Bodhisattva Yana. Some people said the first turning of Dharma wheel was about the Four Noble Truths, and the second turning was the Prajna Paramita Yana, or the Bodhisattva Yana, and the third turning, so the Tantric Buddhists would say that the third turning of the Dharma wheel was about the Vajrayana, which is for attaining Buddhahood in this direct lifetime. And then there are also some other people that said that the third turning of the Dharma wheel was talking about Yogacara and Madhyamaka. So some people have the opinions that the first turning of the Dharma wheel, first about the Four Noble Truths, the second was about the Paramita, Prajna Paramita Yana or Bodhisattvahood, and the third is about the Vajrayana. So Shakyamuni Buddha taught us how to cultivate spiritually, and by spiritual cultivation you can cut off all sufferings. Only then you would be able to generate the utmost bliss. So what can cut off all sufferings is called the utmost bliss. So Shakyamuni Buddha is to salvage sentient beings, to help them attain utmost bliss. And now let's talk about Lamdre, that talks about the zealous life moving evenly, and the skillful means of the real practice. First, you need to practice the 9 postures of quiet contemplation, and quiet contemplation is meditation. So the real practice is by meditating. So first you practice the breathing. You block the right nostril and breathe through the left nostril once or twice, and then breathe normally. At first, use the zealous or fervent qi and place your mind on the exiting qi while exhaling, on the entering qi while inhaling, and on the abiding qi while the qi stays. So if you use the 9-cycle Buddha breathing, you use the pinky to block the right nostril and breathe in through the left nostril. And you can feel the breath, the breath being exhaled. You block the right nostril, block the left nostril, block both nostrils, and open both, in through both, out through both, and then block the right, inhale, and then block the left nostril and out the right nostril. So the 9-cycle Buddha breathing is to train your concentration and focus. So 9 postures. Block the right nostril, breathe through the left nostril once or twice, then breathe normally. And at first you use the zealous qi and place your mind on the exiting, entering, and abiding qi. So sometimes as you breathe, you inhale and you hold the breath. That's called the abiding qi. And the longer, the better. The abiding, the longer, the better. So here, it's like talking about 9-cycle Buddha breathing. So why do you need to block the right nostril and to use the left nostril in and out? There's a reason, because we have the right and the left channels inside the body. So you train the breathing through the left nostril, in and out, so that the qi would go through the left channel, because the left channel is less problematic. And the balance breathing is like 9-cycle Buddha breathing. So if you concentrate on your breathing, then you are training on your concentration. And then when you practice until you achieve quiescence, then you can enter into meditation. If your qi doesn't flow smoothly, it's impossible for you to enter into meditation. You need to train until the qi is very tranquil, very serene, almost gone, which is your breathing is very soft, very fine, very slow, very long. Then you can be in full concentration, then you can enter into meditation. Why do you need to practice qi first? Because the qi can influence your concentration. So if your qi is turbulent, then your mind or your heart is also chaotic. It's impossible for you to perform anything well. So the qi has to be stable in order to do anything well. So if you're nervous and anxious, it's impossible to do anything well. So first, you block the right nostril, and then you use the left nostril to breathe in and out, and in and out. And then you stop and hold your breath, and then breathe in and out, and in and out, and you practice gradually until you focus. And once you're in concentration, then you can enter into meditation. There are 4 rich men gambling together. And as they're gambling, they ask the foolish one, go outside the door and check if there's a policeman. And he went out for a few minutes, and then he got in. breathless and said, "Oh, there was no policeman outside the door, but I went to the police station and got a policeman here." So he's creating problem for himself. There are lots of people like that, creating problems. And two fools are arguing about the moon on the sky, and one said it's a sun, one said it's a moon. And as they were arguing, they asked a passerby, "So, is it the sun or a moon?" And the passerby said, "Because I'm just a passerby, I don't stay here, so I don't know." So the three of them were fools. Actually, for a fool, they also have some happiness and suffering. Both happiness and suffering. One day the teacher asked Xiaoming, "So when your grade is not well, how do your parents punish you?" So below 80, then it's a single woman, and below 70, it's a single man, and below 60, then it would be a mixed double, man and woman. So he said, "Suffering? Of course, suffering. My grade was really bad when I was young. I was beaten to death by my dad. I was beaten every day. So human life is suffering. And exams are definitely suffering when you were students. And in your study, that's also suffering. At work, there's also suffering. You have boss that's in charge of you. Or when you're in business and you don't make money, that's also suffering." One day there was a huge elephant taking an afternoon nap in front of the ants' nest, and the ants moved the whole troop to bite the elephant. And when the elephant woke up, found elephants all over his body. So he shook his body and dropped all the elephants. But there was still an elephant on his neck. And then all the other ants on the ground cried out, choke the elephant's neck. Just choke his neck. So isn't that stupid? Isn't that dumb? How can an ant choke on the elephant's neck? So it's like, how could an ant eat the elephant's meat? Or the crane would eat the frog's meat, but not the frog, the toad. The toad wants to eat the meat of a crane or the swan, but actually it's the other way around. The swan can just eat the toad in one scoop. So that's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum. We are truly grateful to His Holiness for the precious Dharma teaching, and now we hope that you can help with the chairs, and in a moment we will have the empowerment for Shakyamuni Buddha. And during the empowerment, please remember to visualize the deity, to form the mudra, and to recite the mantra. And afterwards, please remember to return your receivers. This ends the English interpretation today. Thank you very much.
恭请圣尊赐予大家释迦牟尼佛功德王法灌顶，还有皈依灌顶。非常感谢根本上师持受释迦牟尼佛功德王法灌顶。 顶礼坛城做观想大礼拜，100根本传承上师及诸佛。Om Hom 观想顶礼，回天津三印2拜诸菩萨。Om Hom 观想顶礼，回天津三印3拜诸护法金刚。Om Hom 观想顶礼，回天津三印是平等与其手。护摩法会圆满吉祥结束了，感谢根本传承上师的大加持，感谢师母、诸位上师、教授师、法师、讲师、助教、贵宾、同门善信大德的护持，谢谢大家，阿弥陀佛。We now conclude this live broadcast. Thank you for viewing.